teams must demonstrate why AI can't perform a job before they're permitted to ask for more headcount and resources. As of 2024, Shopify had around 8,100 employees. The year prior, the company laid off 20% of its staff. In January, Shopify reported quietly laying off employees in its customer service division. So the customer service division is assumably where AI Ava would be taking over jobs from her human coworkers.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, this is Ashley with Status Coup. I know that we are living under a Trump hellscape of chaos and changing hourly crises, but did you know that there is a full-throttle campaign to get us to stop hiring humans? That's right. Billboards have been popping up across the country imploring us to stop hiring humans and submit to the AI overlords already. And I'm going to share a few of them with you right now. So here's a billboard in Miami with a creepy AI-generated model above text which says, "Stop hiring humans. The era of AI employees is here." And here are some more. The ad in the top right reads, "Hire artisans, not humans." That one is particularly enraging to me. And the one on the bottom left reads, "Stop hiring humans," with a little red squiggle below it to indicate that some careless human being has misspelled the word hiring. And then says, "Hire Ava, the AI BDR, the business development representative." And it is next to the same creepy AI-generated model as the one in the top right. But in this ad, it has the addition of weird glowing soup eyes for anyone who watches The Boys. And people fucking hated these ads. One thread on Reddit in the subreddit Artist Hate has a bunch of comments. And the first comment is, "It's quite ironic how those people touting AI as a replacement for human labor never argue about replacing their positions with AI." And the response to that says, "Can't wait for AI to do a CEO's job better than them. Hopefully this will finally put some AI legislations on the table." Another one says, "These goobers are literally the opposite of what their company name means. Welcome to tech in the 2020s. Meaningless dumbass company names and completely anti-human proposals. Fuck this industry." And the response to that says, "An AI company calling themselves artisan sounds like Orwellian doublethink. I've never seen some fucked up shit like that. They sure have no soul." Another one, "Never have I wanted to throw balloons full of paint at a booth so much. Not at the people, though." And one last one, I'm losing hope every day." And on the original ad posted in our layoffs, so the subreddit layoffs on Reddit, there's a few on here as well. One of them points out that the company currently has 29 open human roles on its website. So they're a tech startup selling vaporware that's so trash that they don't even use it. Another Reddit user says, "Behind every AI agent, there is an Indian working on overseas for an offshore job. AI is just an excuse to find cheaper labor." And someone's sharing their experience at their company, saying that the HR director at my company has been saying for months that with the automation of processes and AI, we can cut jobs and reduce size of company. She is now making it a KPI for every team to automate and use AI with the intent to reduce each team by at least 10 to 20% in 1 to 2 years' time. Someone responded to that. "The first job to automate should be the HR director." So these absolutely infuriating and dystopic ads were put out by a company called Artisan, which offers the AI sales agent called Ava. And I'm going to play for you a portion of a video on their website, which introduces you to Ava.
Sales representatives spend millions of hours tediously researching prospects, writing emails, and booking in meetings. But what if we told you it doesn't have to be that way? Introducing Ava, the sales rep artisan. Ava is just like anyone else on your team. She has a unique personality and gets to know you. She has conversations with her colleagues via Slack. She learns how the company works and gets better at her job. Except Ava isn't like her colleagues at all. Ava is a first-of-her-kind, cutting-edge AI agent.
Okay, so this is just all like so insanely creepy to me. Slack is bad enough without integrating robot colleagues to it. So after that, they go on to outline, all the sales stuff that Ava can do, and I'm not going to bore you with that part of the video. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
And exports engaged prospects to their CRM, all with no human input. And she costs 96% less than hiring someone to do her job. Ava marks the beginning of the next industrial revolution, and of an army of artisans we're introducing to take productivity to new heights. This isn't magic. This is the future, and we're just getting started.
Okay, so according to Artisan, this is the future. That's it. It's here. It's 2025, and humans are already obsolete. And it's not just Artisan that's planning for this new world order that is run by robots. On April 7th, this past Monday, Shopify CEO Toby Lütke announced a new policy in a memo to his employees. So I'm going to read a little bit from TechCrunch's coverage of this memo. So they write here, in a recent memo to employees, Shopify CEO Toby Lütke made a bold policy change. Teams must demonstrate why AI can't perform a job before they're permitted to ask for more headcount and resources. Before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI, Lütke wrote in the memo, which he shared publicly on social media on Monday. What would this area look like if autonomous AI agents were already part of the team? This question can lead to really fun discussions and projects, he said. However, Lütke isn't the only CEO looking to AI for efficiency gains. Other leaders in the tech space have expressed similar sentiments. The chief executive of Klarna has boasted about how Klarna's AI chatbot does the work of 700 customer service agents. He also said that thanks to AI, Klarna's workforce could eventually be reduced to just 2,000 people. Klarna currently employs around 4,000 people. As of 2024, Shopify had around 8,100 employees. The year prior, the company laid off 20% of its staff. In January, Shopify reported quietly laying off employees in its customer service division, according to Business Insider. So the customer service division is assumably where AI Ava would be taking over jobs from her human coworkers. If you listened to me talking with Jordan after I started in this role last week, you'll know that I am a big fan of the Dead Kennedys and sort of credit punk music with my lefty political awakening as a young teenager. And while I've been looking into this story, I've had one line from a song called Soup is Good Food by the Dead Kennedys, probably written in 1987, so before I was born, stuck in my head. And the line goes something like, computers never go on strike. To save the working man, you have to put him out to pasture. It is insane to me how applicable these lyrics, written again in 1987 still are, and how much more relevant they are going to become. The TechCrunch piece that I was just reading about Shopify's new policy of having to justify human employees also mentioned a new report from the United Nations Trade and Development Organization, and I'm going to share some of those findings with you as well. Okay, so here is the UN report. The report is called AI's 4.8 trillion future, UN Trade and Development alerts on divides, urges action. So they found that the AI market is projected to reach $4.8 trillion, roughly the size of Germany's economy, but its benefits remain highly concentrated. Up to 40% of global jobs will be impacted, requiring protective labor policies, which I'm sure we know won't happen. Less than 1/3 of developing countries have AI strategies. 118 countries lack representation in AI governance, limiting global inclusivity. Developing economies must invest in AI infrastructure, data, and skills to harness its full potential. And of course, instead of preparing for a future where AI is going to siphon off a large number of already shitty, soul-numbing jobs, but jobs nonetheless, goons like Howard Lutnick are basically telling us that's just the way it is. Get over it, human scum. The future is for robots, basically. All of the tariffs and other policies that the Trump administration has been destroying the last remains of our economy with hasn't actually been for the long-term success of working people. It's been for AI Ava. So here he is again telling us exactly that on Fox News.
Now, we're not going to have all factories come back. Like clothing manufacturing, that's tough to bring back. But what kind of manufacturing are you talking about returning here?
Well, you can't just give that away. See, what's going to happen is robotics are going to replace the cheap labor that we've seen all across the world. I mean, think of what our factories did. They went to the cheapest labor in the whole world, slave labor, cheap labor, the worst environmental conditions, polluting the heck out of it. And then we bring back those cheap products here and we feel good about ourselves because we don't see the pain.
So Lutnick is basically saying, yeah, it would be really hard to bring these jobs in manufacturing back, and it would cost us some money to hire back humans, which we don't want to spend. So instead, we're going to bring back manufacturing for robots and the lucky few who get to service them until they too are replaced. I reached out to Artisan for comment about this ad campaign. I haven't heard back from them, but they did write a post on their website about the Stop Hiring Humans campaign. So I'm going to read to you a little bit of what they had to say. So the story behind the Stop Hiring Humans billboards in San Francisco, and the one I showed initially is also in Miami. So they say, when we decided to launch our own outdoor campaign at Artisan, we knew we needed something different, something that would stand out, something provocative. What we didn't know was that our controversial approach would lead to tens of millions of impressions, thousands of death threats, hundreds of articles, and our biggest growth months ever. Our biggest growth months ever. Was it worth it? Yes. Yes. So playing to working people's increasing fear that the few awful jobs we still might have could be taken away was totally worth it to them. And on their strategy, here's what they had to say. We spent days brainstorming the campaign messaging. We wanted to draw eyes and spark interest. We wanted to cause intrigue with our target market while driving a bit of rage with the wider public. The messaging we came up with was simple but provocative. Stop hiring humans. We complemented our core tagline with phrases like, artisans won't complain about work-life balance. Humans are so 2023. Artisans won't come into work hungover. Hire artisans, not humans. And the era of AI employees is here, paired with the human appearance of our AI SDR, Ava. Okay, so here's what they learned from this strategy. They say the first billboard that went up was on the way to the city from San Francisco Airport, I think, from SFO. And boom, it started with a single tweet. Did I really just see a billboard that said, stop hiring humans on the way from SFO Airport to the city? And then there is a tweet here. So this was a huge booth at entrance of the event. The irony of calling consolidated software artisans with a crying emoji. So this was at an AI event. Yeah, this was at an AI event. Sorry, restarting. So this was at an AI event where Artisan had a booth which says, again, stop hiring humans, consolidated software powered by artisans. And they say within days, that tweet reached nearly 5,000 likes and reached 250,000 people. And instead of trying to calm the controversy, we doubled down. We posted our own TechCrunch booth on Reddit's subreddit, Mildly Infuriating, with the caption, hired humans telling you to stop hiring humans. As they note below, that post has now been removed. And they go on to say, at that point, we knew we were onto something. We seeded around 20 different subreddits with photos of our billboards, and time after time, they went viral. Over the following weeks, journalists started flooding our inbox. We got coverage in SFGate, Breitbart, Gizmodo, TechCrunch, had interview requests from CBS, Fox, and more, and even made it into HubSpot's newsletter. The campaign had taken on a life of its own. And here we are today. New social media posts, articles, and forums are going viral about the campaign every day. I've had hundreds of people send me posts about our billboards they've come across organically. And here's what they learned. Looking back, a few key insights stand out. We didn't expect people to get so mad. The goal of the campaign was always to rage bait, but we never expected the level of backlash we ended up seeing. Looking forward, we're likely to tone down the messaging to be more in line with what we actually believe rather than just clickbaiting. Luckily, the people who are mad aren't our target audience. Luckily, the people who were mad aren't our target audience. We target tech companies, and the vast majority of people who work at and run tech companies loved the campaign. Because of course they did. We received hundreds of messages of support and thousands of sales meeting bookings from people in our ICP. Finally, we learned that when something works, double down. Each time the campaign got attention, we amplified it instead of retreating. This turned critics into unwitting marketing allies and kept the momentum going far longer than we expected. This is all crazy. The sort of distance between them talking about how they pissed people off and why people are pissed off is astounding to me. Again, yes, working people don't like to be effectively taunted about future job losses. That is actually cruel. You're talking about actual people's lives, not AI Ava. And unfortunately for them, Luigi brought some unwanted attention to CEOs and how a large portion of the public actually feel about them. And on this, they said, the timing was unideal, to say the least. The United Healthcare CEO's shooting unexpectedly catalyzed the social media noise about the campaign. Death threats started flooding in across all channels, our website, emails, company social media, and my personal social media. While all of them will be reported to the FBI, some of them were actually pretty funny. Yeah, I'm sure some of them were pretty funny. So they listed one from a John Smith who said, "You should be ashamed of yourselves. Your shitty ads are fucked up, and the founder of Artisan Company should find a tall bridge and jump. Hopefully he's the next Brian Thompson." Again, making light of this in this way is kind of fucking insane, and not connecting back to why people reacted like this to this campaign lacks so much awareness and humanity. I don't know. They do try at the end of this post to kind of reassure us that they do care about human beings. So I'm going to read that as well. So they write, "The truth is, we love humans. We don't actually want people to stop hiring humans. We're actively hiring across all roles, and I don't actually think AI is dystopian. The real goal for us is to automate the work that humans don't enjoy and to make every job more human. Nobody wants to spend 8 hours a day researching people and writing outbound emails, so we built Ava to do it for them. In the long run, the Stop Hiring Humans campaign tagline will have more merit. Inevitably, as more and more human productivity is taken over by AI, we should first see a 4-day work week. Eventually, we should all live in a world where everyone gets UBI, productivity is driven entirely by robots, we're all free to do whatever we want, and you can truly stop hiring humans. But today is not that day. In my opinion, that day will in fact be utopia." So you are right, Artisan. Today is not that day. I wish today was a time of UBI or 32-hour or less work week and true freedom for people. But it's not. Today is a time of mass layoffs, looming recession, and insecurity for working people. We're not going to thank you for treating those very real concerns with such little care. To me, this ad campaign, Stop Hiring Humans, is actually exceedingly cruel and utterly lacking in humanity. And to those aiding in and profiting from putting the working man out to pasture, there might come a day when AI comes for you too. In the meantime, I will be hoping that there are no on-the-ground protest covering reporter AI bots coming down the pike. So that's going to be it from me. Please like, follow, and subscribe to Status Coup News. And if you can, please consider becoming a paid member at statuscoup.com/join so we can bring you more reporting like this and send me and John out on the road to cover the economic devastation working people around the country are now facing. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Bye.